was going through, because Rambo, when he first came to Carbonation, Rambo was a single guy. Rambo was not in a relationship. Rambo was just doing him. And so when he left Carbonation, he had a wife and a baby, and a sick wife, and a little bitty fragile baby. And then Rambo, he went through the same thing that I went through. So our minds wasn't right. Our minds was not, okay, because we went through a transformation, And so he's coming out trying to be a father and a husband, but then also trying to figure things out for himself. And I wasn't able to be more understanding of that, because I was going, okay, somebody tried to call me. And so I was going through what I was going through, being a new mother, trying to get my health back together, and then the detachment of a group of people that I identified myself with as family, So him and I were just battling each other. Instead of coming together, we were like this, going in the same direction. It was just a lot. And so it was getting to the point where I was like, what I asked for was not what I wanted. I told myself I wanted to leave. I was ready to go. And then the universe gave me this great opportunity to come to Hawaii. And then I wasn't appreciative of it when I received it. So it was just a whole bunch. And so when I really thought about what was important to me, family is important to me. And so when I left the States, I left my family, as we call my Babylon family. I left them, and then I received a new family, which was Carbonation. But then I left them, and it was just me and Rambo, and we didn't look at each other as family. So I was just like, what is going on? What is becoming of my life? Then I have this baby, and it's like I don't really know what to do, and it's just like it was just so much coming at me. And then the one thing that I continue to remember, that healed me and that helped me was Carbonation. And so then I was just like, maybe it was a mistake for me to leave. But then it was just like, because I left, everybody was supporting me, because you got this one group that love Carbonation, you got this other group that hate Carbonation, and I didn't hate or love them. It's a part of my journey. It's my experience. It wasn't a hate or love thing, but it was like I was forced to choose, because Rambo, he didn't want to have anything to do with it. He was wanting to move on with his life, but it was a big piece of my life. It brought me into my divinity. It brought me into the awareness of self, and so that part of me that healed me, I was trying to ignore, instead of embracing and allowing. I was ignoring it, because I didn't want to make Rambo feel a certain way. I didn't want to make my followers feel a certain way. I just didn't want to make nobody feel a certain way. But in the whole time, I'm the one that is torturing myself. So eventually, I think Chief, he ended up reaching out to me on the live and was just like, remember this, and come back home, we miss you, da 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 da. And I was just like, what? It caught me off guard. And so then that's when things started manifesting. That's when things started erupting. And then that's when I had to be honest with myself about how I felt. That I do miss the family. I do miss being back at Carbonation. I do miss doing the teachings. It's like I miss that. I said, I want to go back. Like I was just saying that to myself. And so I eventually shared that with Rambo, and obviously it didn't go great. It didn't go great, but that was me becoming authentic to myself. It's like I had no control over my life. And that's exactly in that moment. I had no control. I was out of control of my own life. And in that moment, I just sat there. I was like, what are you doing? He also wanted the baby to be in his life, but he just wanted to make sure that this is something that I want to do, that I'm solid in it. He said, because if I give you my baby, he said, I'm still responsible for you. I'm responsible for you and the child. So wherever you go, it's still going to be my fault because I let you go. And he was like, so whatever you do, he said, I want to make sure you're okay and that you know what you're getting yourself into. And I was like, okay. I said, I get that, because with me, especially with that Sagittarian energy, I'm very hasty when I see something, but all the things that y'all heard wasn't true at all, because I wasn't really talking to Chief. Like, I would talk to him sometimes, but I wasn't really talking to him like that. But I'll be in his downloads, he'll come in my downloads, and that's when you saw him and I talking and stuff. But there was no talk of me coming back being his wife or anything like that. Now, the person that was trying to make me be his wife was Tron. Tron was trying to make me be his direct. And I kept telling Tron, I was like, no, I'm not interested. But I don't want to come back in doing that. Like, I really want to focus on the family and focus on my purpose and focus on the baby. And I said, I'm not really, trying to do all that. So Tron was just like, okay, but we're still building. I was like, okay, cool, but no. And so then, okay, let me think. Okay, so as time, okay, so and I was like, yes. So as the days went on, it was just something within me was like, not now. No. It's not time for you to go back. Nope. Pay attention. And then eventually me and Rambo was talking about doing this and doing that. And Rambo was like, you do know you're leaving, don't you? You know you're leaving in like 13 days or 10 days. I was like, yeah, I know I'm leaving. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm leaving. And so, but it was just all of these thoughts start coming, and it was just something within me was just like, no, always talking to you. The universe has its own language, okay? And if you're not in tune to that, you will not be able to stay in tune to what's really going on. And I thought about this the other day, that if you break down the word, I'm gonna come back, and I was like, and so I got off the phone with them, and they was like, don't tell nobody. And then the next day, they ended up posting pictures and stuff of each other. So I told Rambo, I said, I got the sign that I needed, the confirmation. I said, Nana's coming back. And I said, and it's time for me to go back. I said, that's what I needed to feel good about leaving, And he was like, okay. He was like, that's good. He said, I'm glad she's coming back. I said, yeah, me too. I said, good. I said, everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. So then something told me to wait. Like, again, things just keep telling me, no, just wait, be quiet, and just wait. And when I was in carbonation, there was things that I saw that I did not agree with, and I didn't say anything, because I was a part of a group, right? And when you're a part of something, it's not about you, it's about the group. But the one thing that I have to realize and remember, that even though you're a part of something, don't dim your light to be a part of something. Don't seek validation to be a part of something. Don't hide yourself to be a part of something, because who you are, you're a piece of that group. Without your component, so now that I'm talking, now here he comes. I'm not saying anything disrespectful. I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about me. You understand? I'm not like you. I don't talk shit about you or nobody else. But what I'm not going to do is allow you to tell my story, and then I can't tell my story. I'm not saying anything that you haven't already told the people. He said they will use what you say against me. I'm not saying anything that they don't already know. You understand what I'm saying? You started it. You went live and told the people about what I said to you. And he was like, what, did she think that I wanted, that she was going to be my wife? Like, you made a mockery of my feelings. So now I have to come live and talk about my side of the story. You did it. I didn't do it. Like, I never talked shit about Chief. Like, this live is not about him. And I'm still not going to talk shit about him or nobody there. You understand? I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you, Chief. But because of what you did to me, this is what I have to do to protect myself. Because whatever I say to you, you'll use it against me. And how do you think that makes me feel? You understand? Like, and I'm glad that he's doing this. Because I want y'all to know, oh yeah, absolutely not. Go on somewhere. Like, you know, I'm like, and so then I realized, I was like, Faith, why? I said, why are you going into a situation that you are resisting? Like, you're going into, because like he always say that, yeah, this is a movement, but it's still my life. Your carbonation is a movement, but Chief still has certain ways and things that he likes to do things. And you either be, because you did, now he's sending me a message, why are you telling people our business? Because you told people our business. That's why. He just sent me a message. Why are you telling people my business? Because you started it. And we're going to talk about it, because he told people my business. When I sent him that letter about how I felt, what did he do? He went live and read to y'all my feelings and try to make fun of it. And so now that I'm talking, now here he comes. I'm not saying anything disrespectful. I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about me. You understand? I'm not like you. I don't talk shit about you or nobody else. But what I'm not going to do is allow you to tell my story, and then I can't tell my story. I'm not saying anything that you haven't already told the people. He said they will use what you say against me. I'm not saying anything that they don't already know. You understand what I'm saying? You started it. You went live and told the people about what I said to you. And he was like, what, did she think that I wanted, that she was going to be my wife? Like, you made a mockery of my feelings. So now I have to come live and talk about my side of the story. You did it. I didn't do it. Like, I never talked shit about Chief. Like, this live is not about him. And I'm still not going to talk shit about him or nobody there. You understand? I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you, Chief. But because of what you did to me, this is what I have to do to protect myself. Because whatever I say to you, you'll use it against me. And how do you think that makes me feel? You understand? Like, and I'm glad that he's doing this. Because I want y'all to know, oh yeah, I'm doing it public because you did. You did public. You think you can say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do to people. And it's not right. Yeah, I am hurt. But this is what you taught me to do. You taught me to do this. You taught me to express myself. You understand what I'm saying? And now that he's here, I want y'all to know something. I was never jealous of jealous of Nana or anybody else. I was devoted and loyal to the mission, to the purpose. I found myself. And I was devoted to him. See, a lot of y'all say y'all believe in God. Y'all say y'all believe in God. Y'all believe in Jesus. But y'all ain't never met God. See, when I found Chief and was face to face to him, I was looking God, divinity, in the eye. See, this deity, this entity saved my life. So I was devoted to him. Ain't about no freaking love, romantic relationship. No, it was devotion. But what is God? God is energy. So, just like energy changes forms and transforms, so does God. So, just because you might have the light in divinity doesn't mean you hold on to it. Doesn't mean it's always there. You know, it's something you have to allow and be open to. And it didn't matter what he did or what he said. I was devoted. I was devoted. He's calling me and stuff, and it's not even about that. It's not even about him. This video was never about him. This live is never about him. It's about me. Okay, not everything's about you. So, the day that I was supposed to leave, I literally could not pack my bags. Rambo was like, "What are you doing? It's time for you to go." And so I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "Rambo, I just don't think I should go." I said, "Go." It's telling me, wait. It kept telling me, wait. You know, and then and then I did go off on him when he said he was monogamous, and I said him because and the reason why I went, no, I'll get to that because we'll get to the point. So, Rambo was like, okay. He was like, I understand. He was like, I already bought the ticket. He was like, at least pack your bag and go with me to my friend's house because it's on the way to the airport. And if you change your mind, we go back home. If you don't, you can still go. I was like, okay. So I packed the stuff. And then we go. And so we go, and then I talked to my friends. Our friends that we have are beautiful. They are just the best friends to have. They gave us great advice, and they were very supportive, and it made me feel good. I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm going. I'm leaving. Yeah, and Rambo was like, yeah, I feel good about you going too. And so then we go, and I missed my flight. Because my flight was at 9 o'clock. And we got there about 8 o'clock. And by the time we got through, the baggage and stuff, they ended up closing the gate. And so I ended up missing that flight. And so then it was like, okay, no problem. We'll put you on another flight. And I was like, okay. And then it was like, oh, well, you're going on an international flight. You don't have a ticket for the baby. And Rambo was like, yeah, I didn't want to buy a full ticket. He was like, so what can I do? So Rambo paid a ticket for the baby. So he paid a ticket for me, he paid a ticket for the baby, and then he was going to pay for the luggage. And then it was like, well, you need a returning flight. And he was like, oh, shoot. So we ended up getting this returning flight, but we had to wait. If it's disruption because he keep calling me, you get your moment, Chief. It's not what you think it is. I'm not like that. I'm not like y'all. I don't be talking shit about people like that. I'm very careful what I put out into my universe. That's why things always work out for me, because I treat people the way that I want to be treated. So Rambo was like, so then I ended up missing that flight. That 10:30 flight. Rambo was like, look, I don't have no more money to give you. He said, I didn't stop you. I didn't resist you. I don't know what else to do. And so then I called Chief, and they didn't answer because it was really late. And so then I was like, well, let's just go home. And it was like, okay. And so we went home. And so then the next day, Chief called me, and he was just like, what's going on? You should have called me. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he was just like, the reason why it didn't work out is because of you, your energy. And I was like, yeah, I know. It was just like, I can't lie to him. You know me. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And so then I get off the phone with him, and so so that's when they went live. Him and Nana went live or whatever. And so then Rambo was like, why didn't you let him know how you felt and like what's going on with you? Why do you think that happened? And so then I just ended up sending him that message that he went live about and shared with the world. Okay, you did that. And let everybody know what I said, because I was hurt, and instead of him allowing me to have my feelings and then waiting for me to talk to him, he went live and shared it with y'all. So that's why I don't know why he doing all of this now when you do it all the time. And I just let it all out. I just let him know how I felt. But it's not about the monogamy, y'all. It was just about everything. It was about everything. How he made me feel, everything. And I just laid it all out there. And because my moon's in the 12th house, so a lot of times our emotions are hidden. Like, we might feel something, but we'll bury them. And that's what I did for the past few years. I buried all of it. But then in this moment, like, I just went the fuck off. And I wasn't disrespectful. I just let them know how I felt. And so in that moment, I just started crying. And I was just crying and crying. And I was just like, oh my God. So why do I feel like I'm breaking up with someone? And that's how I felt. Like I finally let him know how I felt. I finally released that. And so in that moment, like I said, more peace just came over me. It was like a relief came over me. And, and Rambo was very supportive. Rambo didn't make me feel bad. Rambo didn't make it be about him. Rambo was just there, just like, there to be supportive or whatever. And so then someone told me just to be quiet and just to wait. Don't say nothing. Don't go on camera. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to nobody. Just be quiet. And just pay attention. And I was like, okay. Because I felt bad. Because I never talked to Chief like that. I never really talked to him like that. Like I said, he let y'all read the message. It wasn't anything like crazy, but I never just let him know how I felt, and what he meant to me. I never did that. And so then 2 days later, Tori goes live, and she doing all of this and all this, and I was like, oh shoot. And then after that, they get deported back to the States. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so then that's when, in the moment, I was like, now I see why things happened the way that they were. The universe was guiding me. My intuition was guiding me. It was like, because the thing about your intuition, the thing about your own inner guide, is that it's tapped into the universe. See, people are always looking for God, but God is within you. That's why I always say that you are God, because when you are talking, what's that voice that you hear? It's your voice. It ain't nobody's voice but your own talking to you, which is God, which you are. But we are programmed to go against that voice. We are programmed not to listen to that voice. So that uncomfortableness that I was feeling, that anxiety that I was feeling, was that disconnect that I had with my own inner self, my own God, my own, my own consciousness. It was like me fighting and battling because I wasn't used to that feeling, that energy coming through me, guiding me on what I need to be doing at all times. And so I'm just like, oh, I don't know what this feeling is. No, nigga, that's your inner God telling you, do this, don't do that, pay attention. So if I wouldn't have listened, I would have experienced what they're experiencing. And not saying what the experience is a good or bad thing, but maybe that's not something that I need to experience anymore. Maybe it's time for me to do something else. And so when I start doing self-reflection, because we always talk about balance, stay balanced, be balanced. But what does that really mean, to be balanced? And there's certain things in your life that is out of balance, but in order for you to bring balance to it, you need to be very specific to that. Right? So for me, the one thing that I was out of balance with is the word, and this is a word, fantasy. Fantasy. That is a word, an energy, a vibration, because remember, words hold vibration. That was a vibration that I was not in balance. I was not tuning. And let me be more clear about that. Because when I was at Carbonation, right, I was ready to leave. But then when I came to Hawaii, I wanted to go back to Carbonation, or I wanted to do something else. And when I say fantasy, is that we have these ideas and these dreams and these aspirations of what we want to be and who do we think we are. But it's the application that actually make it possible. But when you are caught up in fantasy, when you are out of balance to fantasy, you ain't going to do nothing. You're just going to just sit there and be in Fa La La Land. But then, say for example, you do receive what it is that you want. Instead of you being present and being focused on what's in front of you and being in the now, what the out of balance of fantasy is, it always have you looking to the future, or it has you looking back. So for me, throughout my life, I was always out of balance to my fantasy, to my dreams. Because I could never just sit still and appreciate and be in the moment and be in the now and really see what's in front of me. Because if I would have went back to Carbonation, it would have been the same thing. I would have been wanting to be back in Hawaii, or I wanted to do something else. So before I do anything, I need to get in balance to my desires, to my fantasy, to what I want, to my purpose. And then once you get into balance into that, then you can be more committed. You can be more solid. But you can't be solid and committed when you are all over the place. And that was the one thing that in this very moment I came to a realization, to the awareness of. And then trusting my intuition. And that's the reason why, y'all, I had to be quiet. I had to humble myself to my own intuition. And I had to realize that everything that I need to know is already with me. But if I quiet myself and silence myself and listen, then I'll be able to hear it. But if you continue to go outside of yourself, because I know we're talking about everything within is what you see on the outside, but if I continue separating myself for what I see outside of myself, for changing, because they don't know how to commit to themselves. So start committing to yourself. Start loving yourself. I know, me too. Welcome everybody. I got special guests here.
Zen.
What's your new name? Quetzalcoatl.
And Zen.
And Zen. Okay, y'all. So we're gonna do Q&A. Anybody want to come in and talk? Hey, Mary. If you have any questions, So if you have any questions for Rambo, or you have any questions for Zen, now it's the time. Hey, pina colada. Okay, you can't be stretching my dress and my boob on the camera. Okay. Okay. So, you want to click?
Like you want to use this?
We could.
Okay.
Oh, that looks like a comment. I don't know if it's a comment or a question.
I can't spell your new name. Yeah. I mean, I could barely spell it sometimes.
Okay.
No question. I just want to say I miss seeing you and Baby Zane and Rambo.
Oh, we're thankful.
So one sec, can you finish the story about Loyal asking to be?
Oh. Well, you already know that when you're at Carbonation that hold on, yo, because Zen he's feeding, so he's like pulling my dress down.
You don't care what's going on.
That you see how everybody is in a relationship, and it's always been like that. But it wasn't really nothing. It was like once I let Tron and them know that I wasn't interested in being Tron's direct. Minutes later, I received a message from Loyal saying, like, I talked to Chief, and he was like, it would be, maybe we'd be a good fit, and if you could send me your chart. And I was like, I said, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And then he was just like, why not? I said, because I'm not. I was like, I said, I'm not interested in talking in you in that way. And I was like, my mind's not even on you like that or nothing. Hold on. What's the matter? And so I knew that it was going to happen because where everybody was paired up, and he was like the only one available, and then I was coming, so I know they was probably looking at, oh, this is divine, and I'm like, absolutely not. I don't even know if he's like 21 years old.
But if you would have accepted that, like knowing the standards that you have for yourself,
yeah,
it would just show like how little you respect yourself.
Yeah.
It's because you didn't want to, and I think that's had an influence on why you were feeling the way you were feeling. Yeah. Because it's like what you want for yourself, and going to an environment and allowing yourself to be set up with somebody who you didn't want to be with, not only shows that you don't care about yourself, but that the people trying to force that on you, ain't have respect for you either. Yeah. But it all starts with yourself, because you got to set that boundary for yourself.
Well, and then I did send Chief a message, and I let him know. I was like, I just received a message from Loyal. I said, look, I'm not interested in him. I'm not about to sit here and settle. Please, no. And he was like, understood. So it wasn't like he was, but you just never know when you get there. But I was just like, no, absolutely not. I was like, I'm going to be the auntie. I was like, I'll be the auntie of Carbonation, but I most definitely ain't going to about to be nobody's direct. So, okay. So that was it, y'all.
You want to answer this one?
No, we can answer that. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
So when Beauty Rose said, did you and Rambo get forced to be together? No, you don't get forced. Well, I know
you can't get forced.
You can't get forced
really, like,
to be with someone.
I mean, people could like insinuate, or they could suggest shit, but nobody could force you to be with somebody else.
Yeah.
We actually we didn't want to. We rejected that at first.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later, like
it wasn't until like later on. Then that's when him and I just started talking. And then one night he was in my tent, and then the rest was history. Rambo used to sneak in my tent at night.
That's right.
And so eventually we were just like, all right, But I always thought Rambo was attractive or whatever.
Yeah. But it's like, I think we were so focused on the mission and what we were doing that wasn't even the biggest interest.